Take two.
Aloha, my name is Amy Lee and I play saxophones on the Big Island. I started playing music when I was 10 years old in Massachusetts. When I was in high school, I started listening to Cannonball Adderley, Dave Brubeck, and Miles Davis, John Coltrane, and Paul Desmond. Only because my high school band director gave those to me for my birthday as a present when I was 14. I didn't quite get all of it. I got the Desmond Brubeck, but I didn't get the Coltrane at all. I kind of got the Adderley, but... And then one day when I was 16 or so, I put on that. I would always listen to everything all the time. I didn't quite get that Coltrane, Giant Steps, but I would listen to it every day. When I was about 16, 17, I put it on and it clicked.
Then came Love Supreme. Yeah. Most kids as a teenager, let's say the 60s, weren't listening to that type of stuff. I mean, did you listen to pop and then just got this big jazz injection?
When I was very young, my mother used to listen to Count Basie, the big bands era, and we used to have a Victrola that we would spin actually, and have Bing Crosby and Duke Ellington and Count Basie playing back in the day. Mm-hmm. And I would listen to all those old swing big band music, mm-hmm. and would get an ear for arrangements.
Mm-hmm. The kind of popular music for that era was much different. So how does a teenager accept it so well?
I loved the R&B music of the 60s. That was my forte until I got into high school, and my teacher loaned me or gave those to me as a birthday present. He just thought he saw something in me that I didn't know was in me. And like I said, it slowly all started clicking into my brain, and from there it was just love ever since.
Where did it go from there? After high school, did you have some formal music training?
I did do some formal training, and I went to college at the University of Miami in Miami, Florida. Mm-hmm. I did 4 years of music merchandising is what they called it, music business studies as well as jazz studies there.
When did it click that you wanted to become a musician, a serious musician?
It's funny because most parents do not encourage their children to become musicians, but my mother forced me to become a musician. She saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. I knew it would be a very difficult life, and she just knew something was going to be of me, so she forced me into school, music school, everything.
Wow.
Yeah, I had more support than I wanted.
I've never heard that before.
I know.
It's like, no, you got to get a job. 40 hours a week,
No.
punch that clock.
She got angry when I moved out of music performance and into music business. She was angry with me because I wanted something under my belt.
So there was no worry about, can you make a career of this?
No, she just knew I would. Isn't that crazy?
Well, tell me about the early career. When did you start, gigging and getting some proper gigs?
When I was 16 was my first gig with a big band in Massachusetts. But when I went to school in Miami, I started playing in a funk band outside of the college. And then when I moved to Atlanta, I played in about 11 different bands. It wasn't until I played for Martin Luther King's festivities and met up with one of the Neville brothers, Charles Neville, a sax player. I went to New Orleans for the Jazz Festival after playing for Martin Luther King's birthday in Atlanta, and he had invited me. And I was in the band called Diversity under Charles. The second year that I played at the Jazz and Heritage Festival with Diversity, he had been talking about me to Jimmy Buffett, and I sat in with Jimmy, And he asked me to go on the road with him, and 3 weeks later I was a choral reefer for 15 more years.
Sure.
I played with some fantastic musicians through Jimmy, to include Joni Mitchell. Oh my God, that was fantastic. James Taylor, Glenn Frey, Joe Walsh. I mean, the list just goes on. Live performances, yeah, out on stage, small clubs, Hard Rock cafes, Margaritavilles, just. And I was fortunate enough to solo on a lot of these gigs with the players.
So how did you, if I'm skipping something, let me know, but how did you make the transition to the Big Island? Or what about Hawaii brought you here?
When I was 10 years old and still living in Massachusetts, I somehow or another got the idea to move to Hawaii. 42 years later, I made that dream come true. I purchased some land and I started building a house in 2014 and moved here in 2014 just in time for the hurricane to come and just in time for the lava flow coming to Pahoa where I live.
Madam Pele has her ways.
Yes, Pele has her ways, but...
Could you briefly describe your music making process when you start writing?
When I start writing, it's very interesting. I write normally with a keyboard, but I don't play piano. I am a linear player because I play saxophone, and it's a linear instrument, not chordal. So when I play piano, I play it linearly, one voicing at a time, and then I put it together through the wonderments of computer.
Yeah.
So it really saves me doing it that way. So I do use the computer technology to help me out because I'm just terrible piano player. But what I do is I clear my mind, I clear everything. Sometimes I'll get a thought or I'll read my journal and get an idea and then clear my mind and just let the higher power come into me and say a little prayer, let your voice be the key, and just let the energy come through my fingers and I start.
Right. So tell me what you're working on right now.
Right now I'm thinking of just doing something very simple and nature-like. I live down in Kahana Beach area, and I wake up very early, and this morning the birds just started chirping as the sun was coming up. The coquis come out at night. I hear the ocean in the background. I want to bring this island to the people. And I have a lot of fans from my days with Buffett. I want to do some recordings of the island and bring it to the people on the mainland.
How would you describe the music scene here on the Big Island?
The music scene here on the Big Island is a very interesting animal. It's interesting how things connect, actually. When I first moved here, I went to Kukuau Studios. Buds throws a jazz jam there on Mondays. So I met a guitar player there named Fred Heat. Okay, so we exchanged numbers and everything. So move back, move forward, whatever way you want to. I move into my house that's being built and isn't quite done, but we ran out of money, which is a normal situation here.
Yeah.
My adjacent neighbor knows a jazz person, singer, through this group that she's in, the swing Hepcats, the Hepcats. Jazz Malay is the name of the group. Luann Gurney.
I interviewed her.
I did a gig with Luann. Okay, so Jean-Paul calls me. He's a sax player. Fred He hooks me up with Jean-Paul. I go and sit in with Jean-Paul and Fred He, and who's on the gig is Luann Gurney.
Yeah.
I had already done a gig with Luann at Hilo Town Tavern with the jazz Malay. So it's all just kind of weirdly connected. It's just very strange. When I first got here, I had a year-long stint in Kona that I would go out once a week to do, and I'm actually thankful that it stopped because it was a 5-hour round trip drive for us. So,
what would you like to see change here, music-wise?
I would like to see more jazz venues open, more live music venues open, perhaps restaurants having a trio or duo situation opening up, even quartet.
Do you see a difference in the type of music played on the Kona side versus the Hilo side? Are there better gigs over there? Are there how would you describe that? I mean, it's a big island, and there's a kind of separation. Some of the people I've interviewed say, well, you know, you could make it as a musician over there if you don't want to play original material and just do resort gigs.
Yes, that's true. Kona side is the tourist side, so if you want to make a living and just play cover tunes, then that's where it's at. But if you want to live your life and not be under the gun and do your own thing, then this side is the side, the Hilo side. And I'm a Puna-tic, so I love living in Puna, so I'm like way out there.
Cool. Okay, last question, then we get to eat. What makes the Big Island so special?
I visited back in '92, Oahu, Maui, and then the Big Island. One by one, each island became my favorite until I finally came to the Big Island. The rawness of the island has never changed. Now, Kona has changed quite a bit since '92, but Hilo really hasn't at all. And that's what I've enjoyed about this side of the island. It's stayed pristine to me. So,
Do you think the weather has anything to do with it?
The weather is perfect here, and you can find whatever kind of weather system you want to live in on this island. So that's what the wonder is about this place. It's magical and healing, very healing.
Perfect. Let's call it a wrap.
Okay,
Thank you.
cool.